Hey everyone, it's Amanda from Loops and Love Crochet, and I'm just working on finishing up a little mini crochet tote bag here, and I thought I'd show you how the handle works up because I haven't done a specific video just for making a handle for a crochet tote bag, and I use the same technique for a lot of my bag patterns, and sometimes I get asked how to work the handle, so I thought I'd do a little video tutorial for you today on making the handle of this little bag here. Now, depending on the pattern that you're using, the stitch count will be different because this bag is pretty small. It's only 84 stitches around, and other bags are going to have different stitch counts and chain numbers for bigger bags and longer handles or shorter handles. So you can just kind of use the technique and apply it to the pattern that you are working on. So this pattern here, we're going to start out with, well, I just did a few rows of single crochet and I'm going to work the handle. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start out with single crocheting in the first 14 stitches. And again, this number will change depending on the pattern that you're working on. Okay, there's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I first started a chain, I did a 14 single crochets here, and then I'm going to work a chain, however long I want the handle to be, and then I'm going to skip a certain number of stitches. For this bag it's going to be 18 stitches only because it's just for a 5-year-old's arm to go through here. But it'll change depending on the pattern you're working on. So for this bag, I'm going to do a chain of 50. So I'm just going to start it off here on camera, and then I'll pause it and resume it when I'm done, because it's not very exciting to watch someone do 50 chain stitches. But I'm just going to chain all the way up 50 stitches here, and it's going to be quite a long chain. And when I get there, I'm just going to turn the video back on, and then I'll show you how to attach it on the other side of your bag. Okay, so here we are. I have my chain here. I actually chained to 55 to make it a little bit longer. So I have this nice long chain here, and it's going to form one handle of the bag, or one strap. So what you're going to do, this pattern here, we're going to be skipping 18 stitches in the middle. So we're just going to make sure that we have our chain nice and flat here so we don't twist it, because we're going to have to crochet into it in the next round. So we don't want to twist it. And you're just going to count the number of stitches the pattern asks you to skip, and then you're going to join your yarn with a single crochet on the other side. So I'm just going to lay this out here. And then I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I'm skipping 18 stitches, and I'm going to single crochet into the 19th stitch. So here's my single crochet, and that's what's going to join this chain here to make the handle of the bag. And then I'm going to single crochet, it says 24 stitches, so I just did one of them. So I'm going to go all the way around to the other side of the bag. And then we'll work on the other handle. Okay, and then you might just want to double check that you went around. When your bag lays flat, your second handle should be pretty much in the same spot on the other side of the bag here. So I'm just going to make sure where I left off, it looks like we are right on the other side of the other handle here. There we go. I'm just going to do one more single crochet. And then we're just going to repeat the same thing again. So I'm going to chain up to 50 again. And then I'm going to join it on the other side, skip 18 stitches, and then I'm going to join it over here to form the second handle here. So I'm just gonna, I'll do my chain of 50 or 55, actually I did. I'll do that off camera, and then I'll join back up here with you again and show you how to finish the first round of the handle. And then I'll show you how to work the round of single crocheting into the handle to make it a little bit thicker. So I'll meet you right back here. Okay, here we are back around at the other side of the chain here. So I did my chain of 55, and then I'm going to skip 18 stitches again, and then I'm going to single crochet into the next stitch in order to fasten this handle down again. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And I'm going to single crochet in this 19th stitch. And I just want to make sure that I don't twist my chain here. So I'm just going to double check that it's nice and straight. Because when you are trying to crochet into it, and if there's a twist in it, it usually shows up, and then you might have to pull it out again. So we'll just make sure we get it in there the first time so we don't have to do it again. And then I'm just going to single crochet to join that. There we go. So there's my second bag handle here. And then we're just going to crochet all the way back around to the first stitch, and then we'll join with a slip stitch, and that will complete the first round of the bag's handles. There we go. So there's our first round. You'll want to go around it a couple more times because this is a little bit too skinny of handles here. They won't be that strong yet. So I'm just going to flip over my bag again, and then we're going to single crochet another round here, and we're going to work into the stitches for the handle as well. So I did my join, and then I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm just going to single crochet again to start off the round, and we'll go all the way. We're going to go around the entire bag, but we're going to go also in each of the chains forming the handles. So it's adding quite a few stitches to your round because we have 2 chains of 55 or whatever your chains are to go around. So it definitely makes it a longer round, but it'll make our handles a lot stronger here. Okay, so I've single crocheted in each stitch here, and now I'm going to start working single crochets into the chain stitches for the handle here. So there's the first one, and I'm just going to go in. I just go into the top part of the chain, but you can go into the middle if you want. It's up to you. And you're just going to go all the way around the bag. So we're going to go through all around the handle here, and then you're going to single crochet in each stitch along the single crochets again around the bag, and then you're going to single crochet in each chain along the top of the handle. And then it'll bring you around right back to where we started again, and that'll be the second round of the handle. And then you can add another round if you'd like. You can do as many handle rounds as you would like to do, just depending on the preference you have of how wide of straps you want. So I'll finish this round here off camera, and then I'll join back up with you at the end here. Okay, here we are back around. Finished the second round of the straps here. So we worked single crochet stitches into every stitch around the bag. So I started at the beginning, worked along all of the stitches of the first handle, and then I did single crochet stitches around to the second handle, and then in each of the chain stitches here, all the way around, and then in the last stitches all the way to the end here, and then I did a join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. So this is 2 rounds of the handles. I'm going to work one more round. This is a child's bag, so I think 3 rounds will be good. If I was working an adult bag, I'd probably do another round after that, so there's 4 in total. So just to start the next round, this is probably going to be the easiest one here. a lot quicker than the other ones. It takes a while to work into those chain stitches in the previous round. But I'm just gonna work single crochets just as you normally would in any other pattern in every single stitch around the top of the bag here. And after this round, this child size bag will be all finished, but it just depends on what size of handle you like, what kind of thickness you like for your handle. So I'll meet you around when I finish this round, and then I'll give you a few tips if you are trying to do the math for figuring out where to put your handle on a larger size bag. So I'll be right back around, and then I'll tell you about that, and then we will be all done. All right, here we are. This bag is now finished. I just finished up, I ended up running out of the coral color yarn, and it went to the next color in the color changing yarn that I have here. So I just ended up cutting out the rest of the coral and then skipping to the goldish yellow color so that the whole round was the same color instead of half the round one color and half the last round another color. So the straps match here. So I just single crocheted around each stitch, up and down each strap and around the middle, and there we go. So this bag is now complete, and I think that since it's for a child, 1 round of the chain and 2 rounds of the single crochet into the handles, I think that's a good thickness for a 5-year-old. However, if you're making this bag for an older child or an adult, I would suggest maybe doing another round or 2 of single crochet, just depending on how thick of straps that you'd like to have or how heavy of items you plan to put into the bag. So if you have your own bag that you're working on and you want some help with the math of that strap there, what I usually do is I find the middle of my bag. Sometimes the seam doesn't really line up right along the side, or it travels just a little bit. So that's why there's a different number of stitches at the start of the round than at the end. But what I usually do is I find the middle here, and since this is for a child's bag, I decided to make the amount of stitches that will go underneath the arm. I did that at around 18 stitches. However, if I was making this bag for an adult, I would probably go around 23 to 25 stitches skipped here. So I just found the middle of the bag. So I used the measuring tape, found the middle, and then I counted on either side how many stitches I'm going to skip so that that middle stitch was in the middle of my skipped stitch section here. And then I just marked that off. And then when I started the round, I did single crochets all the way up until the end of where I marked off where those skipped stitches will start. And then I did a chain of 55 here, but for an adult, maybe you do 65 to 70, maybe more, just depending on how long you want the straps to be. And then I marked where the other side was as well, so that I was skipping my 18 stitches. And then we're going to single crochet all the way around to where the stitches would lay on top of each other here, because you want the handles to line up so they're not offset, like you want them to be lined up in the middle. So when I got around to this side here, I just lined up my 18 skipped stitches, and then I just went from there. So I single crocheted right up to the same stitch on the other side, and then did the chains for the handle, and then I continued single crocheting after I skipped the 18 stitches, and then all the way to the end. So there you go, and it'll change depending on where your seam is. Sometimes you might only have a few stitches left at the end. Sometimes you may only start with a few stitches. Depends on how many stitches you're skipping here, as well as just where the seam of your bag is, or if it's a square rectangular shaped bag, or maybe you're making a circular bag. So it just kind of depends, but that's just some little tips for helping you figure out the math of your straps there. And if you are having any trouble figuring out the math on a bag that you're working on, I can always help you out with that. If you just send me a message through Facebook or at loopsandlovecrochet@gmail.com, I don't mind giving you some tips or helping you figure out the placement of your straps. All right, well, this bag is finished, and I hope you found this tutorial helpful. and this free pattern will be available on the blog loopsandlovecrochet.com, and I will also do a tutorial for working bag bases, since I get a lot of questions on how to work the base of the tote bag here, for the rectangular bag here, how to work the base. So look for that on my YouTube channel, and I'm look forward to seeing what you make. Thanks so much for watching. You could follow Loops and Love Crochet on Instagram and on Facebook.